I'm going to discuss two shocking immigration mistakes, one from the US and one from Dubai, UAE. Now, I'd like to draw your attention first towards this Reuters article, which mentions or accuses Dubai of deporting several Shiite Muslim people. A few people were mysteriously disappeared and few people were deported. Those were the allegations, and then suddenly there's nothing of that news, right? So we don't know what's happening currently, but let's say it's religion or something else. When they pull the rug, and right or wrong is not the point of this discussion. They could be right, and sometimes there could be a mistaken identity. And recently there was another article, very fresh, where few people, three or four people from Pakistan were accused of some sexual misconduct, and charges or allegations aside, right? Maybe it's a fair charge and that's okay. But sometimes people get misidentified or wrongly accused or wrongly framed, or let's say other times when religion becomes an issue, certain religion is okay and the other religion disappears. When those type of things starts happening, who do you blame? Do you sit and blame the government? Or do you blame yourself for not protecting your situation, right? So when they pull the rug from beneath your feet, you're standing on a thin sheet of paper after that, right? Your, let's say, a Sudanese passport or Nigerian passport or Pakistani passport might work out for you. Maybe you have seen some life there, so you can go there. But think about your children, right? Either existing children or future children who may not have been to Sudan, may not have been to Bangladesh, may not have seen Pakistan. And if you get knocked out, right, you're on some sort of a visa, your whole family is a dependent, and let's say you never made the mistake, you're right, and they frame you or whatever happens and you get knocked off, your whole family gets knocked off, and it is absolute disaster. And in my opinion, then you are at fault because you never protected yourself. Now, a lot of Americans are ahead of the game. Most of the Americans that I talk to at least start their clock towards their Mexican citizenship. They grab either the temporary residency or the permanent residency. Similar kind of situation in the Western world, where if the government accuses you for small little things, right? Let's say you get framed or you're wrongly charged, you want to clear your name, you don't want to be sitting in a Western jail sitting helpless. Jails out there are very different from jails on the other side of the world. There's more flexibility. Here you're absolutely at the mercy of no one, and you want to have the rights to fight and clear your name, especially if you're right. So if you have consular protection, or if you have a strong pillar, a strong country that gives you protection inside, like a Mexico, also gives you that powerful passport that you can actually use for travel. I'm not talking about some of the Caribbean options, right? Those are not real citizenships in my opinion. Some are not, and they might in fact backfire. They might catch you and give you back to your home country, so that's all garbage. I'm talking about real sensible citizenships, right? This is not a foolish game anymore. Things are serious in this business, and smart people watching my channel exactly know what citizenships matter. So a lot of Americans that I speak to have obtained this benefits, and the ones who haven't yet obtained, or if you're a Westerner who hasn't yet secured or solidified your position, this is the time to plant the seeds, right? And there are a lot of options which are cash only options. I'm going to discuss some of those, and then towards the end I'm going to discuss what are my favorite picks for solid citizenships that you should at least think about, right? Not for yourself but also your family, for your dependents. It's high time that you protect and solidify. So once the home country goes rogue and they try to either put you in jail or they try to deport you, you're not sitting at their mercy. You're not sitting on that thin sheet of paper, that useless BS document. You have the protection, the solid protection of some real diversified countries where you can move to, sit there, fight your case out, clear your name, and then you protect yourself and your family. You don't have to sit at the mercy of those jail officials. Now, what are the options? The cash only options, one of my favorite ones is a minor donation to the government, and you get a lifelong PR that does not have any expiry date, that does not expire. That is the South African option. A lot of people think how unsafe it is. Men think it's unsafe, in my opinion, but a lot of my clients for South Africa are women, and women don't think it's unsafe because they're not talking about spending too much time there. They're talking about the benefit. So it takes time to sink in, but surprisingly, a lot of women, this thing has sinked in and they care about their family, right? So they love South Africa. I love South Africa. A simple donation can secure, gives you a lifelong access. It just doesn't hurt to have an additional citizenship. So let's say you want to convert this into a South African passport. Of course, it allows a dual citizenship, and it requires very minimum physical presence in the country towards the end, and then you can apply for your South African nationality. That's a cash only option. The second kind of a cash only option is Mauritius. We are talking about $1,000 here, and then opening a bank account, and then that can get you a solid permanent residency inside of Mauritius. Citizenship is also possible in Mauritius based upon your engagement and the minimum physical presence that you strike inside of Mauritius. It's one of the most flexible options out there. So those are the two in the Africas. Apart from that, I think in Latin Americas, that three citizenships that happen that you can file for after a couple of years. One is Argentina. I personally am not a big fan of Argentina because you cannot renounce this easily. I find that as a bit of a hassle. Nonetheless, there's a lot of population out there. There's a lot of people out there who think Argentina is worth it. It has some unique advantages. There's also interesting golden visa in Brazil, which has picked up steam. I'm getting a lot of interest for the property investment route, right? So let's say you're putting in a 192K, you're getting a golden visa in Brazil. This is one of the most flexible residencies that Brazil offers. Only 30 days a year in the country, and you can maintain this option. Don't forget, the Brazilian passport is very strong, gets you freedom of movement in a lot of countries. That's a big advantage. Apart from that, then you have Peru. There are several ways. There are three interesting ways where you can strike a Peruvian residency. After 2 years, you can apply for your citizenship. There's also Ecuador. Paraguay is an interesting one. So Ecuador is really for someone who's looking for strong legal foothold, right? There's some unique, complex situations that you're facing. So an Ecuador would be an interesting geographical location for you to physically be when the times are bad. When you talk about Paraguay, it's usually for tax benefits, right? I wouldn't really use this for citizenship purposes. I think this is good for the 9% tax, the territorial tax base. So while you're working your other strategies, Paraguay always is a recommendation by a lot of people because it does add that layer of tax advantages to the mix. And then of course in the beginning, as I said, the time to your citizenship, starting the clock, the best one is Mexico. Either you get the permanent residency if you earn slightly higher, separate criteria. But for the masses, I would always say at least the temporary residency should be started, because either residency leads to the same citizenship, the green Mexican passport towards the end. And at any point in time, we have attorneys everywhere, not only these countries, but several other countries that are in the mix that have different advantages. There's some VIP options which can be obtained in less than 30 days. A lot of people market the regular options, but there are VIP options where you're not donating too much money. You're simply diversifying some assets here and there, and that gets you the benefit in the fastest record amount of time. If you are interested, click the link, book a call. We can discuss all these options, see which one fits best at what point in time in your life, strategize your portfolio, and get you started with some immediate options. This is the time when you are in the safe. This is the time to plant the seeds. And then when the times are bad, you reap the fruits, you're well secured. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, make sure you're subbed, and catch you in the next one.